Hi everyone and welcome to Social Work 502. This is week 6 where we'll be talking about the reanalysis of Danny's biographical timeline. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. My cat is really crying at the door and it's very annoying, so I'm sorry if you can hear that, but she is very cute. Just a few announcements before we get started. Your clinical vignette number 2 and your condition presentation are both due on Sunday of this week, which is June 25th. If you have any questions about this, either one of these assignments, please reach out to me by Friday end of day. I'm really good about getting back to emails for those of you who have reached out to me with any questions. I think you can attest to that. I would rather you ask me any questions that you have rather than just kind of shooting at it in the dark. It's always better to ask than to kind of just go at it. Additionally, if you are having issues with your presentation partner, I need you to let me know. So if you feel like you're putting a little bit more work in or you're not getting the response needed from your partner, please let me know so we can try and nip that in the bud before it's too late. Okay, so if you have any questions, please email me, call me, text me, whatever you need. So this week we're going to be talking about Danny's biography again. And at this point we have some insights into his diagnosis. So we're going to discuss diagnosis and the use of the DSM-5 from a critical perspective. So as you can see, there's only one discussion for this week because there's a lot of assignments due. So we're going to apply the knowledge from the semester to assess Danny, apply the knowledge from the semester and offer ideas about Danny's current diagnoses, and make up your own suggestions about possible diagnoses for Danny. So the reading for this week is by Zur and Nordmarken, DSM, Diagnosing for Status and Money, Summary Critique of the DSM-5. As always, you can click here to bring you there or click here. So you're required to watch all the videos for this week. Culture, DSM-5 and how it will impact your work. The DSM-5 controversies. What DSM-5 means for diagnosing mental health patients. And that's it. So that's about 40 minutes or so of video. And these are conversations that we've kind of already had going forward, but just in a little bit more depth to get you thinking a little bit more about the impact of the DSM-5. Your discussion for this week. So you'll review Danny's biographical timeline. Click here for that. Dr. Burrell's biographical timeline and article, and Dr. Ginny Faknu's video, the assessment video. And this is what you are to do. So first, you'll make suggestions for how to go about assessing Danny. Think about what supports are needed and what you should ask Danny directly to obtain the most information possible. Based on Danny's timeline, do you think he has behavioral manifestations, signs, symptoms of a mental health condition? If so, use DSM-5 diagnostic language to substantiate his DSM-5 symptoms in your diagnosis. And lastly, people can have a long list of diagnoses assigned over time. Not all of the diagnoses are based on a holistic assessment using a diagnostic framework. Choosing the 1 or 2 diagnoses that you think best explains Danny's symptoms. Does your diagnosis agree with Danny's list of previous diagnoses? Why or why not? Use diagnostic language to substantiate your answer. So, what I want to point out is, this is what you've been doing all semester. You've been making suggestions on how to go about assessing different clients. You've been talking about the supports that are needed. You've been examining the behavioral manifestations, signs, and symptoms of mental health conditions and applying them to clients. And you've been assigning diagnoses to people. So don't overthink this. You got this discussion. It's always helpful to revisit these things to help you in your answer, but I am looking forward to the conversation that will happen around this discussion because it's kind of bringing it all together now. If you have any questions about this discussion, please feel free to email me. And lastly, as always, follow up with 2 classmates. What have you learned from them? What can you add to their learning? What similarities and differences do you see among your classmates' posts? I'm incredibly impressed with the response prompts that this class does. They're usually very thoughtful and have detail, which is great. It's not something you always see. So thank you, class, for that. Oi. Okay, let's do this. Sorry. I wish that I could. I'm not going to start this video over again, but let's see here. The last two things are just the assignments. They're not working. This is not working for me right now. So on week 6, if you scroll down, you could submit your assignments here. If you have any questions on the condition presentation and clinical vignette part 2, please let me know. Okay, that's it for this week. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know, and I hope that you all have a great week.